So these little beauties started off with seed, and once they came up, they were separated, and in each pot were 2 or 3, and now it's survival of the fittest time, and that's what I'm doing here. So in each pot, I usually pick the one that is the strongest, and I leave that one there. Now this one looks pretty good as well, but I'm going to separate that and put it into this one. Now, if it was just a small plant that was sucking, energy, water, resources from this one, I would pull it and leave the stronger one. So what I'm trying to do now is get down to 1 plant per pot. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me here today at Re-Written Vintage Homestead. Boy, today was a disappointment. Right now it's beautiful and quite breezy and sunny and in the lower 70s. But I have been babying my plants that I started from seed. I have fertilized them, I have thinned them out, I've done everything I can, I've tied them up, I've talked to them, I've sung to them. I've done everything. And I tell you what, it is not easy being a homesteader and a farmer. You're going to have lots of disappointment. So much of what you do is out of your control. I mean, with the weather and with varmints and just the natural things that go on in nature with disease and bugs and things like that. But it can be so disappointing. I've put so much into this year, trying to make this a little bitty farm that actually pays off. But so what happened was I wanted to start. A lot of my plants are leggy. Okay, so they're new little plants, little seedlings that are coming up, but they're very leggy. So we need to strengthen these legs so that they're not breaking and they can withstand the wind. So when they get to about this height, this size, no matter what the plant, you want to bring them outside, let them get some natural sunlight, and get tossed around a little bit by the wind so that they start strengthening up their trunks and their stems. So we had beautiful weather this weekend. So I brought out all of my tomato plants, all of them. And I probably have 100 at this point that I have babied into fruition. So anyway, I brought them all out. I put them under the awning here at the house, so I thought they'd be protected. And boy, they're just going to town in the natural sunlight. But we had a storm this morning that Miss Re-Written slept through. And very high winds. And when I finally woke up and I ran outside, I lost 2 trays of tomatoes. And it's because I had my plants in these peat pots and they can't withstand a ton of water. Yeah, well, here's a better example. They start ripping and falling apart, and my plants were flooded, so there was no way I could save them. So I grabbed what I could and took it back into the shed where I have the grow lights, and the other ones that stayed dry, I just left them out here and they're going to be okay. But it's like I said, it's when you're homesteading, it isn't all roses, and simple living and just, relaxing. It is a lot of work, and you're going to have your disappointments. But you pick yourself up and you keep going. So that's what I'm doing. I am repotting some of the ones that I could save. So yeah, and now of course it's beautiful outside. Alrighty, got some strawberry plants came in today from Stark Brothers. I'm really excited about that because I want to expand my bed. I'll be showing those to you guys, but I thought this week I would show you. We're going to be tilling up the garden. If we could get a couple dry days and start getting things in the ground, and we'll just, show you what the garden is going to look like so far and bring you along with some of the work I've been doing, and you guys can see what it's really like. When you have leggy seedlings like I do here, and what that means is they're tall and they're thin and they're falling over, you want to do what you can to support this little stem here to keep it from breaking. And you want a nice, strong, healthy plant. So like I said, a couple things you can do is you can bring them outside so that they start strengthening up with the wind. The air will be circulating all around them here and the wind, and they're going to start looking different directions for the sun based on where the sun is. So with a grow light, I may have it just right here above my plants, so they're always going to be standing in this direction. But it's a good idea to move your plant or your grow light so that they have to reach a different direction to get to the light, and it'll strengthen up these stems here. That's a good thing about bringing them outside when the weather's nice. Another thing you want to do is you want to add some more soil every now and then and put it around the bottom of the stems just to give them a little more support down here at the bottom. Well, today's the day. I'm putting in 52 tomato plants. I've got beefsteak, best boy, better boy, cherry, yellow, Cherokee, and Roma. So you guys want to join me? It's going to be a long day. So I've got my 7 best boys in. That didn't take too long. It's not too awful hot out here. It's about 80 degrees, but there's a real nice breeze. The sky is gorgeous. Look at that. So now I'm going to go on to my yellow tomatoes. So to say the start of this week has been a disappointment is an understatement. I planted, I got my 22 tomato plants in, and that was all I could get done for the one day. Came out bright and early on Monday. I had taken Monday off from work to get the rest of my garden planted, and I came outside and I put in another row of tomatoes and started throwing up. So I spent the entire day in bed or throwing up, and so that was a real disappointment because I'm just finally over my lung infection. So, and that lasted 3 months. So that was disappointing. But I thought, well, you know what? At least I got 29 tomato plants in. That was until we got a storm the next day with winds that were, I don't know, 20 miles an hour, maybe 25. And the row that I put in wiped them out. So I haven't even wanted to come out to the garden. I haven't even wanted to look. But I will say the 2 rows that I did the first time, they look great. My 1 row that I did on the day that I got sick, it's wiped out. So I'm out here and I'm going to replace those before it starts getting dark this evening. And I am feeling better. But you know, that's just it, is I never know when I'm going to feel good. I don't ever know when I'm going to get sick. So, but you know, you endeavor to persevere, especially if you have a dream, which I do. So Marshall, do you think we ought to keep going? I think he does. He's looking yonder. He's looking out yonder. Like, let's do this. So you guys, here I go again. And there's a dead tomato, and there's a dead tomato, and there's a dead tomato. That's okay, I have replacements. I brought in the reinforcements. There's my first handful of strawberries this season. I just got done. It's dark out here, but you can't tell it through the camera. But I did get another 2 rows in of tomatoes. But I wanted you guys to hear, over in this area, there's a bunch of wild turkeys and they're raising a racket. And over in the woods over there is a rutting buck. And he is just carrying on. And I was hoping you guys could hear him. But of course, now that I turn my camera on, they're going to be quiet. But that's why I love coming out here when it's nice and quiet. You hear all kinds of things. I'm on my 6th row of beans. Once again, I'm using my dad's handy dandy planter here. And I have 2 more rows to go. The Yoder brothers have been out here helping for a while, but they have since jumped on the golf cart because they're ready to go in. They're hot. This is Marshall Yoder, formerly known as Buddy Yoder. And this is Max, formerly known as Max Yoder, now known as Reggie. You guys hot? Huh? Can you stick it out a few more minutes? Just a few more minutes? Okay. I've been trying to get my gardens in for a week and a half. Between not feeling good and then feeling better, and then heat and cicadas and rain. I keep getting interrupted, but now it's about 6 o'clock in the evening, and Marshall and I are getting ready to go back out there to see what kind of damage we can do. Usually all we can do is like a couple rows a night before it starts getting dark, so let's get to it. Out of all of the cucumbers I planted, I bet I lost half of them in a storm. Oh, that's disappointing. So I'm gonna have to replant over here. The beans are coming up. They look good. They look pretty good. There's all the peppers. Tomatoes over here look good. So this garden plot is done except for that end, which is all going to be done in corn. My son is doing succession planting. So he's already planted his plot, and he's waiting 2 weeks, and then he'll come and plant out here. And of course, Marshall says, hey, I like this new bed. At least he's not trying to hatch my green beans this year. Last night I got in 13 okra plants. And then over here I got in 8 zucchini plants. And by the fence there, right here, I planted some more cucumbers. And tonight I'm getting ready on this sheet here to plant my cabbage. We're getting there. That's all I have left. So now I have 8 of the large cabbage. Behind that I have 4 collards, and behind that I have 4 cauliflower. So now let's do the sweet potatoes. You guys, my sweet taters have gotten out of control. Look at, look at how long these vines are. These are the potatoes I started under my bed in what? The end of February? 1st of March? They're huge. So I'm gonna get all these sweet potatoes planted, but they'll never match the sweetest tater of them all. Right, Marshall? Are you my sweet tater? Yes, you're my sweet tater. Got all the sweet potatoes in last night, and tonight it's tater time. Do 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 do. Can't touch this. Do 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 do. Don't want to. They are on every one of our trees. And that is what they leave behind.